what we are doing regarding developing a self-sufficient farming community at Nandagram, which is 32 acres land project in Gujarat in a district called Rajpipla. So at Nandagram, we are trying to follow the principles which we understand Srila Prabhupada gave us in terms of establishing these farm communities. So first I will present some slides, quotations from Srila Prabhupada regarding his vision of the farms, his vision of this whole farm movement, and his strategy to attain that. Srila Prabhupada gave us the vision and Srila Prabhupada gave us the blueprint for that. Of course, there are many details which Srila Prabhupada left on us to fill in, and also which will be location specific, project specific. But still it is very important for all of us to very clearly understand Srila Prabhupada's vision about farm communities, Hare Krishna farm communities. There are presently many organizations, many activists who are working towards eco-friendly environment, towards going green and different things. They have different aspects which are part of the solution, but it is only Srila Prabhupada who gave us the whole picture, which is Krishna's picture, Krishna's way, how this world, the best way to live in. And Srila Prabhupada gave us that vision, so we have that full picture with us. So it is very important for us to understand that whole picture of Srila Prabhupada's vision. So I will present a few slides for that. So this is one quote. Krishna in his natural life is a village boy in Vrindavan. Vrindavan is a village, there is no factory, there is no motor car, there are no big skyscraper buildings. It is a village that Krishna likes. Krishna is so fond of Vrindavan village life with his cowherd boys and cowherd girls, his gopis, Mother Yashoda, Aravanda, Upananda, uncles, big family, the cows and the calves, the trees, the Yamuna river. He is satisfied in that life. So at least those who are Krishna conscious, they should be satisfied with simple life in the village. That is part of Krishna consciousness. Whatever Krishna has taught by his personal life, by his teaching, to follow that is Krishna consciousness. So from this quotation you can understand that one very important aspect of Srila Prabhupada's vision is that the devotees, first they have to understand the need for themselves to live as Krishna has shown by his example, and he's always showing by his example in Gomata. So this is one aspect of the very important aspect of the farm movement, that it is for all of us who claim to be followers of Srila Prabhupada to personally live the life which Krishna lives. Unless we live personally, we cannot show an example to the whole world. So this is one very important theme. Then next, Srila Prabhupada says, no luxuries, live very simple life, and you save time for chanting Hare Krishna. That is my desire. Don't waste time for bodily comforts. You have got this body, you have to eat something, you have to cover yourself. So produce your own food and produce your own clothes. Don't waste time for luxury and chant Hare Krishna. This is success of life. In this way, organize as far as possible, either in Ceylon or Czechoslovakia, wherever, save time. Chant Hare Krishna. Don't be allured by machine civilization. Next. This is soul-killing civilization. Like that, Shri goes on. And money is spent for Krishna, for Krishna's palace, for Krishna's temple, for Krishna's worship, gorgeous as gorgeously. Not for God. This is the human civilization. And another important point here. And to organize this, Varnashrama will help you to divide the society, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, as there is division in the body, that will help. Don't waste human form of body for sense gratification. I wanted to introduce this, now I have given you ideas. Now we will try to see salient features very important points to be taken from this quotation. The first is, live very simple life. So first we need to understand what is the meaning of living a simple life? What constitutes living a simple life? Today in the city, a person, a middle class person or lower middle class, he may be just living hand to mouth. He may be having a mobile or a car, but this is just what is minimum necessary to live in a city today. So will that be called a simple living? So we have to understand what Srila Prabhupada refers to by living a very simple life. Srila Prabhupada says, you have to eat something, you have to cover yourself. So produce your own food and produce your own clothes. So, who are trying to be Krishna conscious, for those, the body is a vehicle for us to practice Krishna consciousness, so we need to maintain it. But then we should not waste time in unnecessary luxuries. Therefore, living very simply means first being satisfied with the primary necessities of life, of this body. And that secondly is presented as roti, kapda, makan, food, shelter and clothing. So this is the first requirement of the simple living, that we should be satisfied with these primary necessities of the body. Now, fulfilling these primary necessities of the body, actually if we see our life, takes majority of the time of our life. Presently we are conditioned, we have a body and we are dependent on that, and it takes a lot of our time. So therefore, how we deal with this question of providing the basic necessities of life, the body, it matters a lot for our spiritual advancement, because majority of our time and concern is going in this. So therefore, to provide these primary necessities, Srila Prabhupada says, you directly take it from the nature. You grow your own food. Not going in a complicated cycle, as is manifested today in the cities, from the industries, producing so many unnecessary things and thus complicating our life. Rather, we produce these primary necessities of the body locally, living locally from the land and from the cows, living in the lap of Mother Nature, depending on Krishna. This one slogan, and another one Srila Prabhupada gave, is rephrased. Consume what you produce and produce what you need. So this summarizes the theme of what we mean by live very simple life. So that means we need to grow our own food. That means in a locality, few people together at a village level, they produce all the primary necessities of the body without depending on the factories. Then, what for these things? To save time for chanting Hare Krishna, because this is the success of life. So this is the ultimate purpose why we are interested in simple life, simple living and high thinking, to save time to chant Hare Krishna. And now, how to achieve this? The Prabhupada gives a strategy for it. And to organize this, Varnashrama will help you to divide the society, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, as there is division in the body. So now when we say you grow your food, you grow your clothes, that doesn't mean that every individual has to grow all his bodily needs himself, but that needs an organization, a society-based organization. And here comes the importance of how to organize a society the best way, and the best way is Krishna's way, and that is this Varnashrama system. So, Srila Prabhupada wanted to establish these farms, so that on this we can demonstrate that full picture of how this Varnashrama system works. Because it is not that in the cities we can properly demonstrate this Varnashrama system acting, because the city's foundation is, the target is wrong, the goal of life is wrong, and it is the system made by us, misunderstanding the goal of life and taking on ourselves how to manage this whole world. So therefore Srila Prabhupada wanted these farm communities, because first we need to become economically independent of this demoniac economic system. So therefore Srila Prabhupada said, on the farms we will demonstrate this Varnashrama system. So now, sometimes devotees have this question in their mind, okay, if you are going to the village, you are producing your food, but what about the money? From where the money will come? From where I will buy so many different things I need? So therefore, how at village level, this self-sufficient village, how it works, I will just briefly present a chart which will explain in nutshell how all the needs, the primary necessities are fulfilled at a village level in a self-sufficient farm community. Oh, this is too big. So, Daiva Varnashrama, this particular chart is where the whole village is centered around serving Radha Krishna, or they are devotees, or at least favorable for Krishna consciousness. Not necessarily that they have to be all full-fledged devotees, but at least not demonic. So for them, the center in serving the Lord, then they have different occupations, and each one contributing to the community in different capacities according to his capabilities. So we have here devotees or people who will be contributing as a Jyotish Shastri, Vastu Shastri, or priest in Samskaras, and then Upasakas, then Ayurveda Vaidyas. These are some of the, and the Gurukula teacher, these are some of the Brahminical occupations which devotees will take up, or people will take up in such a community. Then there will be administrators. Of course, this is administrators, the Raja, the king. In a big picture, we are nowhere near to that. That needs the whole change of the whole situation, political situation. But we are talking at a small community level presently. So, some administration, then farmers and cow herdsmen, this is at the Vaishya level. And then there will be different skilled laborers and general servants supporting all the other three, the masons, the weavers, the ironsmith, the carpenters, the potters, the goldsmith, etc. And by this bartering or different ways of interaction of all this, all the primary necessities for the community will be produced utilizing the raw material from the local place itself and consumed by the local people. So this is how a self-sufficient community, when we talk about, it is at a village or a few group of villages that it is possible, not at one individual level. One person cannot produce all what he needs, very difficult. So therefore, a group of people at a village level or a group of villages will be able to provide everything. And there will be a very few things which we will not be able to produce at the local levels. Therefore, we need merchants, as we see on the right extreme. So like certain metals or certain spices which we will not be able to grow there. For that, there are merchants who go from one community, one village to another, or like that. Then, besides that, each community will have local markets. That is the traditional system. Local markets where the exchange will happen, or at this local market for the members of one village or a group of villages. This is just in a nutshell how a self-sufficient village community works. These are some of the economic and social aspects only. There are so many other aspects not covered here. Next slide. So, now, Srila Prabhupada's one purpose for establishing farm was for the devotees, that they had to save time to chant Hare Krishna. Another reason for Srila Prabhupada's proposing this farm movement was for preaching to the bigger world. That is the second aspect of that. So Srila Prabhupada says here, this is the next aspect of Krishna consciousness which I wish to push forward. If I am able to travel again, then I shall visit the farms and make them perfect. On these farms we can demonstrate the full Varnashrama system. If these farms become successful, then the whole world will be enveloped by Krishna consciousness. So, having presented an example, then there is a need to outreach for the secular world. And then there can be so many different things. We can collaborate with the government, NGOs, and so many different aspects can be covered in that. So that is another aspect. So we have two things. One for the devotees, for themselves, to live simply, for themselves, and then to set an example. So for these two purposes, Srila Prabhupada wanted the farms. Now, next question is, how to make the transition for the devotees, majority of whom are presently in the cities? How to make the transition from wherever we are to whatever is envisioned? So, what I am presenting here is a model study, what we did at Nandgaon in Gujarat. This is not the model, there can be some variations at different places. So, the first thing was the initiative. And this is the most important part of how to establish these farm communities. There need to be a Brahmana, Vaishnava, a leader who clearly envisions Srila Prabhupada's this farm movement and who is determined and faithful that this will happen. So at Nandagram, His Holiness Bhattika Swami Maharaj has been the inspiration and guidance for this project. He has been pushing his Grahastha disciples very much. Any advice they ask, what so many problems, this problem in the city, like this problem, children, how to manage them, and schools having such a bad environment, what to do? The answer is, if you really want the answer, this is Prabhupada's solution, go to the farm. And he has been preaching, and as a result of it, some of his disciples have taken it seriously, and this is the result. So a team of Grahasthas, this is in year 2012, they took it seriously, ready to execute this. So some of the devotees we have here also, they had jobs at different places in the cities, in multinational companies, and they took it seriously, they left their jobs, and with family, with children, small kids also, they moved on to one land which was given. It is near Baroda, this land. It is one of the devotees' property who gave us for use for this project. And devotees shifted there. And next. We made some construction. Now after that land near Baroda, now we have also purchased our own land in Rajpipla. This construction is there. So then we made some houses for the devotees. Now these houses, as far as possible, we have tried to not use unnatural material like cement or steel. You can see the ceiling is having stones, as is common practice in Rajasthan side. And then we use bricks and mud mortar, and then we use lime, plastering, and different things. Of course, we had to use some amount of cement because we are not yet expert using lime, and there are other complications with the lime which we have to yet overcome. Then we started a strive for self-sufficiency. You can see the devotees themselves, like yesterday we were hearing Gadi Prabhu roll up the sleeves and get into the work. So something like that, the devotees themselves, they started learning from the local people. In our case, out of the devotees who moved in, a few of them had some experience of living in the villages. They have at least seen from distant, and some of them were just new to it, but they went living on the land and gradually started picking up. And actually what we found, it's not so difficult. We have practical examples in front of us. Those who have never done farming, in the last 1 year, 2 years, you can see the results. We will show you. The devotees themselves farming and protecting the cows, taking care of the cows, how they take it up. So this devotee, he was a manager in Hero Honda in Baroda. This is Jagannath. Okay. This Jagannath Chandra Prabhu, he is from Indore. He was working in one company. There is another devotee, Tribandana Prabhu, who was working in a Hero Honda company. He also works with the books and doing his farming there. So what we did for this agriculture side, we allocated some land, 2 acres of land per farmer. Yesterday there was some question about the Vaishya split, and today also about the land ownership. So at Nandagram, what we are trying to do, that the land is not owned privately, but a certain piece of land is given to the devotees to work on, and whatever is the produce belongs to that devotee. And it is up to him what he wants to grow, how much he wants to grow. So this freedom is given to each individual farmer. So now this, for why we gave only 2 acres? So precedent to that, we have another community which is parallelly coming up in South India, Salem. So we learned some lessons there about this farming, and that's how we came to this conclusion. So this is another farm which I will speak about, just the agriculture part of it, how we started, and in 1 or 2 years how we attained food self-sufficiency at Salem. So Salem, we have 25 acres of land, and we started with, next slide. We started with 3 Grahastha families there and 3 brahmacharis. I was one of them. Another 2, they were from Salem, South India. And we started this project in 2012, and our target was that we wanted to achieve food self-sufficiency by 2015, because Bhakti Vikas Maharaj gave us a mandate that when you go there, you should go with a target. That after this date, you will only eat what you grow. So we went with this target ahead. Next. So in the first year, our mode of operation was that land was not owned by any individual member, and we combined the work, and the whole produce didn't belong to any individual member. Rather, it was distributed amongst the members, and we had combined cooking. All the devotees coming together, Matajis all coming together and cooking. But what we experienced at the end of the year, this is the observation we had. The community spirit was good, but in general the grahasthas were not satisfied with the model. They wanted more independence. So combinedly working, devotees wanted that I want to work the way I think is good. I want to grow what I need to grow. And in agriculture, there are differences. Each farmer is an individual. He wants to work the way he wants. So they were not very satisfied with the model, and as a result of that, the participation was sluggish. The progress of the farm was very slow in the first year. So what we did, in the second year, we changed our mode of operation. So we then allocated these 2 acres of land. Again, it was not wrong, but it was like demarcated, and it is for you to work on. To each farmer we gave. Out of that, we made a division in that. 1.25 acres of that was meant for each individual member to grow their food, and the remaining 75 cents was to grow extra to get money to buy things not grown by them, because in the initial stage we don't have all the occupations in place, so we will need many things which we need to buy presently from the market. So therefore we need some money at this stage. As the community grows, as all the people with different occupations come in, we will not need this money anymore. But presently we do need. So for that, we divided this land, and this 1.25 is only for growing their own food. Yeah. Then each farmer decides what to grow and produces owned by the farmer and individual food, because cooking is very much related to what you grow. Because you have to plan how much you need and what you want to eat. So therefore, individual cooking. And of course, we have every week, one day, we all come together and cook together. On Sundays, we invite the guests also, and all the festivals we cook together. And regularly, all devotees come together for regular programs, for Mangala Aarti, for Bhagavatam class, like that. So that keeps us together, but as far as this farming is concerned, each individual has their own piece of land, and they can cooperate, they can work together, like that freedom is always there. So what we observe at the end of second year, the community spirit reduced a little, because now for quite many hours every day, devotees were independently working on their own. But on the other hand, the grahasthas were very satisfied with this model, because now they had the independence to plan their field as they wanted. And the result was that there was tremendous increase in participation in farm work, and progress towards the target accelerated like anything. Just in this 1 year, there was a big change we could see. And the result of that was, by the end of second year, farmers had enough grains for whole year. We targeted for 3 years, but in 2 years, we got this result. That farmers had enough grains for the whole year. Everyone ate vegetables grown by themselves only. Food self-sufficiency achieved, except a few spices and fruits. That still is yet to be achieved. Fruits, it takes time for the trees, except for papaya and banana. And for spices, some things grow there, some things don't. Like that. And then besides this food self-sufficiency, farmers cultivated extra crops which earned them money to buy things they couldn't grow. So by second years onwards, they didn't need any donation. So economic viability was achieved and food self-sufficiency was achieved. So we followed this similar thing at Nandagram. And next slide. And this is what progress we have made at Nandagram on agriculture front. This is the data from one farmer, Jagannath Chandra. Is he here?
You can stand up.
He is here. Okay. So this is the first season. We started agriculture there at Nandagram in 2014 October, and this is the first season up to January. Wheat, 100 kgs produced in 25 cents, and average production in Gujarat is 200. It was less than the average. Pigeon pea, 200 kgs produced out of 50 cents. Average production is 125. He could produce more than what the average Gujarat production is. Mustard seed, 110 kgs produced in 25 cents. This was as an intercrop to the wheat. Corn, 350 kgs out of 35 cents. Average is 450. Pearl millet, 100 kgs produced in 12 cents. Average is 100 in Gujarat. And chickpea, 100 kgs produced in 20 cents. 100 kg is the average production. This is the first result, and Jagannath Prabhu before that has not worked in the fields. So this is the first season, of course, involving some local, learning from the local people. That was the key. He learning from them. What do they grow in what season? How do they do? Yeah. This is the second season. This is from June 2015 to October 2015. Rice, 250 kgs produced in 6 cents. Average is 200. In 6 cents in Gujarat. Again, pigeon pea, 100 is produced, 80 is the average production. Moong dal, then corn, 40 kgs in 8 cents, and then pearl millet. These are small figures you can see now because the pattern of cropping changed. Instead of one monocropping, now what we are doing there is multi-cropping. So in one row for one thing, another like that, multi-cropping. So it's small patches but variety, and this is what he needed because he had already other things from the previous season. Yeah, next slide. So at the end of this second season, he has got around 80% of this food requirement what he has for his family. And like that, there is another family, Trivandrum Prabhu, who is working similar to him.
He has taken only one season now.
Sorry?
Next season.
Yeah, he has done one season. Now this is the agriculture aspect of Atlantigram. Now next important aspect, what we saw there in that slide. Can you go back to that slide chart? So there we saw the importance of Gurukula there. So what unique feature we have, we think it is very unique and very important, that we have a farm community and a Gurukula in tandem. They are simultaneously coming up. Why it is important? Because first thing is, the devotees who are joining the farm, the Gurukula is the main attraction for the grahasthas to join the farm communities. And this was the instruction given by His Holiness Bhakti Swami. He first started Gurukula, and that will attract the grahasthas, because grahasthas more than themselves, they are worried about their children, to train them in a way that they will not have to go to the cities. So we first started with the Gurukula. So this is the first importance of having a Gurukula in place. Second thing is, though now the devotees who are joining, they are already in their 30s, so and they are not so good at learning the things, though they are doing, but still they can improve a lot. But now with Gurukulas in place, we have a chance to train the next generation from right very early age, and we can then find their gunas and accordingly train them. So as we progress, next generation will be more well suited for their occupations, and more so with the next generation like that. Then another thing is, if we have Gurukula where there is no connection with the farm community, then a question arises that for those graduates of the Gurukula who are not going to be brahmacharis, what about them? If they have to be grahasthas, what they will do? So if we have a farm community in place, then we already have placement for the graduates out of the Gurukula in our community. They don't have to worry. So we, to the early few batches, we can guarantee that we will provide you land in our community, if you are doing so, to practice one of the rural occupations. So this gives us a chance that the Gurukula will become successful because they can have the placement guarantees. Another thing is that we were talking about Varnashrama College. So Varnashrama College, as we just heard yesterday, is not just a classroom setup. Prabhupada said most of the things in Varnashrama, especially regarding Vaishya and Shudra things, it is done by apprenticeship. So therefore there has to be a working model, a community, and where the children devotees, they can learn practically from the farmers or other people who are doing it right there. So we have this opportunity there with having Gurukula in tandem with the farm community. So we have there Gurukula. Presently we have 22 students. We started with 3, 4 like that. We have now presently 25 students. There are 2 brahmacharis who are training them. Next slide. Here you can see how children, they spend time with the cows, with the farming, because it's very easy for them. They're just, the community is right near to them. And next slide. They have this exposure there, and what we see that as the children, as the students they grow, we can see some of them are not much interested in academics. So then we don't need to torture them. So then what we do is we reduce their academic classes, and then the rest of the time they are sent for spending their time in the farms with other devotees, with the cows. So in this way, it will be very easy that we see their inclination, and then we have a place to give them training near to their training place, the Gurukula. Now, the next aspect is, as I have been telling, simple living. So what we are doing regarding what are our living standards at Nandagram and at Panchvati. First thing is, we don't use electricity. We have electrical point just for charging the mobiles. That's presently for the communication. But in the houses, in the temple, everywhere there is no electricity.
Mobiles also only.
One. Now another thing is the whole community has one community mobile. It's not that everyone having their own mobiles. One community, the whole community has one mobile. And we use castor oil, and we are not started growing castor oil as of yet. At Salem, we have started growing to some extent, but this is the next phase we want to move in. Next slide. No electricity means there is no water motor, so we have hand pumps there. And fortunately, Krishna gave us a place in an area where the water table is quite high. It's around 15-20 feet from the ground. So every house we have a hand pump, and it's a luxury. You don't have to worry. Now there is no current, there is no water, there is no water. But we always have hand pump. Anytime we can have, and in the winter you have relatively warm water, and in the hot, little cold water. So we have these hand pumps there. Then second thing is, we don't use LPG at all. All the cooking is done on fuel wood, and for the from 2012 onwards, all the Matajis there, though most of them didn't have an experience of cooking on wood, they have learned it, and now they are doing it for past 3 years. And these chulas we have made, there are some improved version of the chulas with insulation and with the chimneys, smokeless chulas with insulation. So there are many benefits for that. At Salem also we are doing it, in the main temple also we are doing it. So similar thing we have replicated at Nandagram, and regularly everybody is just using this wood fuel to cook. Then same time to chant Hare Krishna. So this aspect of having satsang, increased satsang at Nandagram. So besides having our regular program of Mangalarti, of chanting, of Bhagavatam class, we have every day in the evening time, after the evening session, we have a katha from Mahabharata or Chaitanya Charitamrita or Ramayana. This is an extra thing. All the devotees come together in the late evening times before going to bed. They have this one session. We have some devotees and who are very good at giving this Mahabharata things. So we have this regular thing, and then time to time, many senior devotees keep on visiting. As you can see here, Jashamati Prabhu and Vasudev Prabhu, they visited us. Next, His Holiness Bhakti Raghu Swami Maharaj, he visited us. Then we celebrate festival there, all devotees together. This is from Govardhan. So this aspect of having that is spiritual, it's the most important and living thing. So we are there together and we celebrate the festivals. Yeah. So this is Nandagram today. We have today 10 families living there, And we have 22 Gurukula students and we have 2 Brahmachari teachers. This is from 2012 onwards, and this is how we are going ahead by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and all the Vaishnavas. Thank you very much. Any questions?
How you manage your water for the fields?
How do we manage water for our fields? At Nandagram, presently we are using electric motor there. At Salem also we are using some other motor. Not yet, we have not yet gone to the stage of having a... No, not solar. We don't want to go for solar because that just we go to one stand, we get hung up there. We want directly to go to that bull-driven things. But that's the next stage, we have not yet gone there, but that definitely we are planning.
I'm just curious where you get your cooking wood from.
At Salem, because there we have some jungle on our land itself, some trees. So we get a lot of wood from the trees itself and a lot of things from the residues of the crops. If you see in the village life, that's a major thing comes from the crops itself. If you are growing your crops, this pigeon pea, the stems of that, and like that, many things. And presently, sometimes we have to buy. At Nandagram, we have to buy majority of that. But now, the planting is going on for the trees. So it will take some time, but then we can have the cuttings, the branches, which will regularly fetch us.
If someone in your group is very seriously ill, do you have any scheme for that?
Yeah. At Panchavati, we have a devotee who is a doctor, I think you know, Saral Prabhu from Mayapur. He was in Mayapur first. So he's there with us and he's now growing some herbs. So there at Panchavati we have that facility. It's the beginning stage. At Nandagram we don't have it. We're just starting some herb garden a little bit. But that's the planning that we can grow herbs and thereby take care. Presently we are going outside for medical treatment. Outreach programs. Yes. At both these places we have outreach programs. Like at Panchavati, we have that whole website and WhatsApp group. Facebook we have. And what's that? Panchavati? Panchavati Ishtagoshti. Okay. So
Panchavati.com also.
in the local villages we have a weekly program. Like at Salem, what we did, that place is near to Tirupati. And there is a culture of going to Tirupati for in a particular month. So this time we organized a bus from our community, local villagers. We took them to Tirupati on the way to ISKCON Temple Salem, ISKCON Tirupati, and then to Tirumala, like that. And weekly we have one program, and then some village programs here and there, now and then. Now the whole village and nearby villages, they know that we are there, Hare Krishna people, and they are gradually getting involved with us. So that program is going on. Now what has happened in Salem, many devotees have, many people, local people have restarted growing things which they have stopped for quite many years. Now at this Panchavati farm, they are only doing commercial farming, people in general. But seeing us, they have again started, some of them have started growing again what their food, the crops which they need to eat. So this is a change that is happening and they are appreciating us. That this is what we used to do, what our father used to do. Now you are doing it very happy. Give us seeds. They are taking seeds from us because they have lost all their seeds. So they take seeds from us and they have really started doing it. So this is a change we are seeing there. And similarly at Nandagram also, village preaching. It's the beginning stage. This is the next thing actually we want to focus on. Because this is very important that we have to involve the local villagers. Otherwise, we cannot be self-sufficient. It has to be a bigger picture involving more and more people. For the cow protection Bible, we did that the awareness is created among the local people to have the cows, to have the bulls, then only we can be successful. So understanding that, this is our next aspect which we want to focus more on.
These are some of the photos of Janmashtami Festival 2014 in Nandagram.
Okay, this is Janmashtami Festival which we celebrated with the local villagers.
One last question.
This is the only thing which will lead ISKCON to live for 10,000 years. Red Star will not last. This is the only comment. I don't need your mic.
So big very good to Savyasachi Prabhu
And there is a presentation tomorrow about the Gurukula by Dr. Prabhu, which is a continuation of that. How we are doing with the Gurukula and Varnashrama college thing. That is a presentation tomorrow. And we have those families with us from this farm. Those of you who want to interact with them, can I address?
They can come to stage so that they can interact.
Jagannath Chaitanya Prabhu, Rupana
No, not all. Not all.
Nartapuram Prabhu, Radha Prabhu.
So that they can know.
So Nartapuram Prabhu, he is heading the project there and he is also heading the Gurukula there. Jagannath Chaitanya Prabhu is in the farmer section. They have come with their family. Their family is also staying there on the farm. The students also, their kids. Rupanu Prabhu also. His son Rakshak and Mataji's the kids. And elderly also. Sarva Prabhu, you had a question. What about the elders? So yesterday you asked what about the elders, the Vanaprasthas. So we have that also in place. We have elderly devotees, at least one family full time staying here on the farm. Hare Krishna.
I'm sure Srila Prabhupada is very much pleased and Krishna is very much pleased, and that's the purpose of all this. Very wonderful presentation. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.